Hey guys, Kyle, the Death Knight of Anime here, bringing you my review for My Hero Academia, chapter 230. So I think it's fair. It's fair to say that both pretty much Twice and Dabi had stolen the show, but both figuratively and literally in this chapter. And whilst the thing is, basically seeing an army of Twice just rampaging through the city is hilarious. The implications of what he can do with his quirk now are in a lot of ways a lot more interesting to look at. I mean, on one hand, yes, it was established almost very early on, like in the first page of this chapter, and even like I think even earlier on in the series itself, it was established with basically every new clone that Twice creates, the pretty much clones end up getting weaker and weaker, but. On the other hand, I feel this particular development with Twice, it really means this particular development with Twice and the development that we're hopefully going to get with Dabi here soon means I think we're going to see even less of a need in order for them to weaken, in order for the league to pretty much even weaken Makia. I mean, any advantage would still be helpful, obviously, but between seeing Twice having fully embraced his quirk and whatever the hell is going on with basically Shigaraki, it's starting to look like the league is going to have the strength necessary in order to defeat Maki, even with even if they don't have the handicap of weakening him. But even if they don't end up having that handicap of weakening, but by pretty much the end of this, plus with that ending of Gigantomachia, get pretty much lumbering and getting closer to everyone's location. I'm not convinced that the Liberation Army doesn't have some countermeasure in order to deal with him. Like it just kind of seems like a little too. Like with the closer that pretty much Maki ends up getting to everyone's location, it just feels like the closer he gets, the more likely it is that pretty much the Liberation Army is barely even going to break a sweat. Like something is in the works for that for sure. Now, the funniest but kind of intriguing part of this chapter for me is when we see Compress even kind of making that comment on how Twice's growth was something of a hero story, and he's not exactly wrong, but in general, what Compress said, it could definitely apply to this whole situation, because objectively speaking, for basically everything we've seen thus far in the development of Twice and just a lot of the members of the league up to this, a lot of the members of the league in this arc. Objectively speaking, the League of Villains are essentially the heroes in this arc, or at least they pretty much are when you basically compare them to pretty much the beliefs and ideas of the Liberation Army which at this point is pretty much just the beliefs and ideas of the Liberation Army are just a total contradiction to pretty much what their name is, because we basically see that pretty much ice guy, the guy with the ice powers. He says that the goal of the Liberation Army is to create a society where social status is based off the strength of your power. So in a way that's the farthest from basically even liberation. It's just another form of control, really. And whereas of course with the league, they all they want is basically freedom to live, pretty much. But even if that's not necessarily the case, and what they want is, but even if that's not necessarily the case, I think another way we could probably look at the. Another way we could probably look at what the Liberation Army wants is that they want is taking things back to probably the earliest point in history when quirks first began popping up, and although even then, that in itself is probably is even more dangerous of an idea than pretty much than basically their pretty much idea of controlling of basing social status off the power of your quirk. Because I mean, when first thinking about that particular idea, on the surface it doesn't sound all that bad, but we have to remember that the earliest part of history with quirks was the point in history which basically forced regulation on quirks. So obviously, whether it was a good or bad decision, there was always still a reason that pretty much that particular thing happened to begin with, and I think in general I think the one theme that we can take away from pretty much just not only this chapter but this arc in general is honestly that pretty much freedom to use your quirk. That freedom to choose your quirk, it doesn't always amount to safety. Like obviously in this current world, obviously the rules and regulations are maybe a little too strict on quirks, but at the same time, I still believe that having no regulation on quirks is basically still is even worse of an idea than pretty much having is even worse of an idea because. Well, again, obviously, if we go back to pretty much the pretty much earliest point in time in history of when quirks first popping up, obviously something happened back then in order for things to go as bad as they did. And something obviously bad happened in order for regulation to be introduced in general. So yeah. Now, and the other thing with this chapter is that, it was, like I said, it was split into two. It was split into two parts. The first half is where Twice he definitely took center stage, and then by the second half it was Dabi that took center stage. And with Dabi, with this chapter definitely focusing a lot on Dabi by the second half. I hope that's an indication that Horikoshi is ready to spill his guts on at least half of what the character's background is, because Dabi has been the most is one of those characters that basically has the most fan theories behind him, and very few, if any, have yet to be fully confirmed. And just in general, if there was ever a time in order to dive into Dabi, into more of Dabi as a character, I think now it would be a perfect time to do so, especially considering that Twice's character arc seems to have mostly come full circle. So with Twice's character arc, I think for the most part done, it'd be now a good time in order to focus on Dabi and just on what his deal is. Like, there's been even if any of the fan theories about him being a member of the Todoroki family aren't true. Just like I want some at this point. I want something on Dabi for sure. I want to know what exactly his backstory is. How he got those. Just how he got burnt. Like what is his history for sure. Like, just what is this guy's deal? He is just one of the more definitely. He arguably he's definitely one of the more mysterious but intriguing characters, even more than Twice was. But yeah, and. And with just Twice and Dabi, they of course just ended up stealing the show, and with that, I'm just really curious as to what we're gonna get out of Dabi for sure. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much my review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook. Or actually, wait. Sorry. Another thing I failed to mention is that pretty much is that yet again like pretty much the guy who with Twice having with Twice having defeated all his clones now, it's like I don't think that French guy that created the clones is going to be defeated, at least until we get to like probably the book end of this arc. I think at this point, but yeah, guys, that's my review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Mr. Crunchyroll. Then that me signing off. Later, guys.